Hi, welcome to another lesson of Scale and Beyond. Today for Scales and Beyond, we're going to be talking about the D major family of chords and scales and the B minor family of chords and scales. Before we get started, by the way, we're not going to be playing the ukulele today, so you don't need to bring it up. We're going to be doing a lecture on family of chords and the D major and B minor scales. You need to get some pieces of paper before we start. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go and get your major, minor scales and family of chords. You want to go and get that. It's a 4-page packet. Make sure it's, hopefully you stapled them together, 4 pages, and it's going to be on the first page at the bottom where it says D major, treble clef, all this information. And the second piece of paper you want to get is your grid scale pattern for key of D major or B minor. So go ahead, pause the tutorial, and go ahead and get your 2 pieces of paper. First one is the major minor scales and the family of chords, this one, and then you want to get your grid scale pattern for the key of D and B minor. Most important on this grid scale, make sure it says D major and B minor, so we're talking about the same scales and chord patterns, family of chords. Go ahead and pause the tutorial, go get these 2, and come on back. Okay, so you got your pieces of music instruction papers. Let's go ahead and talk about them. By all means, definitely I hope you're taking notes, because this is the crash course and what should have been learned in the courses leading up to this. So hopefully you took our courses and you got a grasp on the music theory and you led up to this, or you just have a music theory knowledge so that you can follow along. Okay, so take notes on the 2 pieces of papers, especially this one here. You got this information right here, which is this, and then a lot of space to take notes. Okay, let's get started. So when we're talking about the key of D and B minor, we're talking about a treble clef or music that will have 2 sharps in them, F sharp and C sharp. So anytime you see that, what that means is anytime you play a note, either your F note or your C note, you got to make them sharps. F sharp, C sharp. Keep in mind, they're not going to be on every single line. Just those 2 got to remind you that every single F and C are going to be sharps. Okay, so here's the treble clef. Here's your D scale. Here's the notes, scale notes corresponding to that. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Now, if you notice, here's your C sharp. Come across that C is a C sharp, okay, which is part of the D scale, B minor scale. Now notice, this F sharp over here, you don't see a sharp over there, because it's assumed that when you see that F sharp, all your Fs are now F sharp. Okay, and same thing with the C sharp. Okay, so next we have the chords in the key, and basically we're, like I said earlier, we're talking about the keys of D major, B minor. D major, B minor. These are the 2 keys we're talking about. And I said earlier, you got to remember them as like, you know, like a family of chords, of like a family, like brothers and sisters. You can't separate them. They kind of live together. They kind of work together. You know, they just are together. So keep that in mind. D major, B minor, they're just together. Okay, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. First, we're going to talk about the family of chords for the key of D major. This is on your paper. If you need to take notes, by all means do so. So we got D, E minor, F sharp minor, C, A7, B minor, C diminished, and D, back to D. Don't concern yourself too much with the diminished chords. Just know that the diminished chords exist and are in the family of chords. If you get into more complex pieces of music, you got to be more aware of them and what's their function. At this stage in learning, just be aware that they're there and don't concern yourself too much. And then, so moving on, So underneath the chords for the family of chords for D major, we have the Roman numeral system that it also names the chords. It follows in sequence of just like numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Except they imply that the 1 chord is a D major, 2, little Roman numeral 2. So we'll just say big, small. So the small ones are minor, small ones are minor, big ones are major, big ones are major, small is minor, small, well this one here, because you got that little circle, it's the diminished chord, and this is a 1 major. Okay. Now, at this point, a couple of things. First of all, you want to make sure that you are familiar with the chords that we're using, because when we play the scales, you got to know which chords we're playing with. If you're playing with the wrong chords, the scales that you're playing, no matter if it's your basic major minor scale, or we get into like a more elaborate, more advanced scales like pentatonics, blues scales, etc. If we're playing with the wrong chords, they're going to sound very unusual or very wrong. Okay, so make sure that you know which your chords are, and also you want to review your chord chart. Okay, you remember your chord chart? Hopefully you stuck your chords on the front of your your binder and the back of your binder, so that you have your music in here, or your charts in here, your music charts, so they're easy to work with. The more organized you are, the faster you're going to learn. So make sure that you're familiar with the chords, you know what they look like, you know how to make them, and you don't have to make them perfectly. Like for instance, like the F sharp minor, maybe you're new to making that chord. You don't have to make it perfectly, but you got to at least be familiar with them. Now, another important thing is that when you're looking on your chord chart, for the F sharp minor, it's not going to be there. You got to look it up as a G flat minor. Okay, G flat minor. Okay, so the F sharp minor is the same thing as a G flat minor. Some chords, especially the sharps and flats, you can call them two different things, like F sharp minor or G flat minor. They mean the same thing, and they are the exact same chord. In our chord chart, they tend to use more flats. So instead of calling it an F sharp minor, they're calling it a G flat minor. It's the same chord, and this is the chord that you're locating on your chord chart. So that's how you go look it up. Next, you need to locate, you need to be aware, and you need to definitely know where your 1, 4, and 5 chords are. You need to know where your 1, your 4, and your 5 chords are. 5, 7, 5 chord. You need to know where they are at the bare, very minimum. That's going to establish the key, the tonality, the sound of the scale that you're using. Now, it's best that you know all your chords, but it may take a while. So at the very bare minimum, you need to know where your 1, your 4, and 5, 7 or 5 chord are, who they are, and how they work in conjunction to your scale, because they all work and fit together. Now, the quicker you learn this, the quicker you get to your end result with the most optimum reward and gratification. So in other words, it's going to be much more fun, better, exciting if you know all of this together. The other way, you're going to have to learn patterns, and I'll talk about that in a second, but that's kind of a longer way, a longer route. But the bottom line is that if you're really passionate about learning your scales and learning about how to use them, you're going to get to your end result. It's just, are you going to get there quicker, or are you going to get there longer? Okay, so keep in mind that they kind of correspond to each other. As you can see, the D note, E note, F sharp note, G, 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 A. I'm just naming the letters so you can start to see like a little pattern, because we're going to talk about that a little later. Now, we're going to go to the B minor family of chords and the B minor scale. Okay, on this paper right here, I did not write this down, or I did not include it on this grid sheet. And it's going to be good practice, because if you do it, if you write this down, in here, you're going to learn it better. We all as people, we learn better by doing, and we learn faster by doing than we do as we watch. So go ahead and write this down somewhere. You're going to take notes on it. I'll just kind of talk. If you need to, pause the tutorial and then catch up. So, in the key of B minor, keep in mind that it follows the same numerical system and the Roman numeral system. Okay? So when I'm talking about this, every time you see a small Roman numeral, that's a minor. Except for the diminish, you see a circle. That's part of representing diminished chords. And once again, I said, don't concern yourself too heavily about this. Just know they're in the family of chords. Big ones, big Roman numeral, major chords. Okay. So here we go. One chord. You need a one chord. You need a two. You need a three, a four, a five, etc. That's the sequence. But in the key of B minor, in the family of chords of B minor, the first chord is going to be B minor, because we're talking about B minor. Next chord is going to be a two chord, because 2 comes after 1, 2. Next chord is a 3 chord, because it comes after 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Now the chords name, like B minor, C diminished, D, E minor, the chord name got to stay the same. Only maybe one of them is going to change a little bit, but it's got to stay the same, and I'll go over that in a sec. So you got a 1 B minor, 1 minor, which is a relative minor. Oh, by the way, let me just back up for a second. To find your relative minor, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your 6th note in the scale. Number 6 note in the scale. That's how you find your relative minor. There's 2 ways of doing it. First way, find your 6th note in the scale. 6th note is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. B. B minor, B minor. That's how you find your relative minor. You find the 6th note in the major scale, or whatever key you're working on, and that's your relative minor. The other way is to find the 6th chord in the key or family of chords that you're working with. For instance, if we're in the key of D major and the family of chords of D or D major, go to your 6th chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go, B minor. That's your relative minor. That's how we come up with the key of D minor. B minor, and we start off with this family of chords for B minor. So it's very important that we understand the numerical system and the alphabet system, because the alphabet system helps us to understand that it follows just like the alphabet. It goes from A to G and then repeats after G. So A to G, and then when you get to G, you got to start from A again. Then A to G and start from A again. Okay, so in other words, if we just look at the letters so you can see the alphabet. B, C, D. You see the alphabet? B, C, D. What's after D? E, F. What's after F? G. And then I said that we got to repeat back to A after G. We come to G, you got to repeat A. A. Okay. Same thing over here. If you can see the alphabets, D, E, F, G. Repeat the A, B, C, D. You know, just like the alphabets. Okay, so the name of the chord got to stay the same. You got to B minor, got to be B minor. You got to diminish, C sharp diminish. Okay, you got a C sharp diminish. So it's got to stay the same. D major, D major. Next is E minor. Got to stay the name got to stay the same. Name got to stay the same. Just the positioning has shifted. Now, here is where it might get a little confusing and you might have to take some notes. The 5 chord in minor, you have 2 options. Musically, you have 2 options. It's either going to be a 5/7 or a 5 minor. So in music, the F sharp, if you're going to use a minor, see how it's a minor? 5 minor. But, like I said in the earlier lessons, you want to think of it as a 5/7 because most of the time it will probably be a 5/7 chord. It'll probably be a 5/7 chord. In this key, it's a F sharp 7. However, there are musics and even contemporary musics where the 5 is a minor. So you have to be aware of that. But I did want to establish that overall, just kind of think of it as a 5/7 chord. But once again, there's 2 options. Next chord is a G chord. And that G chord is a big Roman numeral. And I said big Roman numeral is major. Major chord, big Roman numeral. But it falls in the 6th position. So it's a major chord, major G. Next is the 7th chord. It's a big Roman numeral because this is a big Roman numeral as well. So it's major. So that's a major chord. Not a dominant 7, but a major. And then you come back to the B minor, which is the 1 chord again. Okay. Now remember when we talked about following an alphabetical system like we saw here, D, E, F sharp, G, okay, matching up like this. Now take note, when we go to the D major family of chords, notice we're just talking letters. Notice how it's the same. D, 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 E, 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 F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, G, 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 A, B, 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 C sharp, C sharp, C sharp, and then D, D, D. Okay? It's the same concept when you play the B minor scale. So when you're playing the B minor scale, you're basically playing the notes. If this were to go down some more, like for instance backwards, it'll be from D to C to B. Okay, the B minor scale would be just the notes, not the chord. B, B note, C sharp note, D note, E note, F sharp note, G note, A note, B note, and that's your B minor scale. And we'll go over that in the upcoming tutorials when we actually show you how to use the scale in a more elaborate way. Okay, now once again, hopefully you have taken the courses that led up to this, or you have some background in music theory. Now, if you haven't, if you don't have background in music theory, you have 2 choices. You can notice patterns, which I'll talk about in a second, or you can take some of the courses that's on the website. You want to go to buenoukulelelessons.com. So what you can do is that you go to the website, read the information there, see what category level or ukulele skill level you fall in. And so, for instance, if you're not a beginner, you probably don't have to take the very first course. Just read the information, see what category you kind of fall in, and I'm sure you can kind of pick up to what level you think you're at, and then just kind of adapt to the information on theory that you're learning in that course. Now, if you are a beginner, I'm going to recommend you start at the very first course where we teach you the basics, the very basic level of how music theory works. And as you progress through the courses, it just starts to fall in together, and by the time you get here, it should be no problem. Because I know that this can be difficult if you've never taken it before, because this is the crash course. We're talking about learning music theory over 4 courses, all in a few minutes. So it can be challenging. Once again, you want to go to the website, www.buenoukulelelessons.com, and you decide for yourself on what route you want to take in catching up with the lesson and understanding music theory. We do recommend that you do take the courses in conjunction with this course so that it helps you understand better, and it gives you a clearer concept of what we're trying to teach you through these scales and beyond courses. Now, the other option is this. Let's say you don't want to take no courses and let's say you don't you don't have any music theory background, etc. So what what you want to do is you want to notice, you want to really pay attention to patterns. Okay, you want to notice any kind of patterns, and you want to try to understand their concept of why they're a certain pattern or a certain way. Look for that kind of association, and that should help you out. So in other words, if you're passionate about learning your skills and you really want to learn how to play scales and how to use them, you're going to get to your end result. The difference is that are you going to get there sooner by knowing this stuff, or you're going to learn it by patterns, which is going to take you a little longer, yeah? Okay, so the patterns you want to look for is this. Basically, you see the D, so you got D, 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 E, 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 F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, G, G, G. So there's some pattern. Okay, you have a scale, you have them on the treble clef, and then you have the family of chords, D, D, D. You got a D major, D note, E minor, E note, F sharp minor, F note. So you can see there's some kind of pattern that's working here, and you want to look for these patterns. And if you're going this route, you really have to take more notes and try to start memorizing the patterns, because you're basing your knowledge not on the concept of how theory works, but you're basing your knowledge on memorizing patterns. Okay, memorizing patterns. Okay, with that being said, what I recommend you do is you watch this tutorial multiple times, take notes. If it's not clear, you got to take notes, and you got to, in whatever form that helps you. Okay, and definitely try to use the information, or you can do like your own personal study, and find out, see if you can pick up on some ideas on music theory. So I'll give this a try. Listen to it multiple times. You're gonna have to study this a little bit if you don't have the background in it. And then once you are ready to move on to the next lesson, we'll see you there. Keep in mind, from this lesson on, the scale patterns gets a little bit more elaborate and intricate, only because your sharps and flats are starting to increase. Okay, but other than that, it's the same concept. So you're taking the concept of what we're teaching you and just applying that to the next lesson, and then just being aware that changes in sharps and flats. Okay, so when you're ready to go on to the next lesson, we shall see you there.